Welcome, everyone, to our room, Journeys into New Earth Frequencies and Sacred Geometry. Welcome from Antonia and me. We're stewards here. And today we are going to show you a video, beautiful video, I think, of a conversation between Antonia Albano and me. But first, let me introduce Antonia to you and what she's all about. No, I think that's on our video, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. So you don't need to hear it twice, do you? All right, let's share screen and watch her video explaining her sacred geometries and a lot of other things. So I'm going to share screen.
One of the things I want to mention before you start that is that the interview that you and I did was specifically related to the geometries that were involved in the creation of a one of a kind in the world labyrinth that is working with the golden ratio. And so we were focusing mostly on that. So that's why the energies and the conversation go mostly to the golden cross and the golden infinity.
Okay, let's share now. Welcome, everyone. Our special guest is Antonia Albano. And thank you for coming with us, Antonia. Welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here.
Janice, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in. I am really, really excited to share these incredible messages, and especially to people who are receptive and open and moving on their own path. So thank you for the incredible, just the opportunity to do this. It's a real pleasure.
Well, thank you, Antonia. And let me introduce a little bit about Antonia. She is a mystic, a visionary, teacher, world traveler on a sailboat, and one of the most remarkable people I have come about to know. Antonia has been facilitating workshops on the raising of human consciousness since the early 1990s. She has had a lifelong fascination with both how the unmanifest is made manifest and how the unmanifest is integral to our existence on this planet and permeates all life with its intelligence. This has taken her through many interesting and diverse fields, most moving into the esoteric science and sacred geometry. Two of the gifts that Antonia shares are the new geometric technologies of love, the breathing, pulsating, infinite density of potential geometries for evolution into the next harmonic of love, the next harmonic of human, in addition to the next evolution of a new human energetic system, a complete hardware installation of a new high-tech energy system for the human body to take us into the future. Throughout the years, Antonia has held the dream of a world of awakened hearts, founding the World Love Project, Virginia's annual multi-day celebration of love festival, creating an energetically powerful, one-of-a-kind modern-day labyrinth, and the Healing Resonance Council has been a few of the ways Antonia envisions making a difference. She has been involved for over 3 decades with the California-based Elohim Center for Transformational Studies, Church of Inner Wisdom, co-founded the California Institute of Mind-Body Awareness near San Francisco, and has spent time as a transformational coach, integrative therapist, and spiritual mentor. Currently, she is co-founder and general manager of a 250-acre holistic retreat, event, and teaching facility in the Virginia Shenandoah Valley with her husband. Antonia continues to develop a deeper resonance with the geometries and exploring esoteric studies, expanding her inner vision and dissolving illusions.
Wow.
This is just a brief and small glimpse of Antonia's life, and all I can say is, wow. You have a history of so much spiritual endeavor, more actually than we can cover tonight. Tell us a bit. What's your original spiritual background? How did all the spiritual practice and study begin? What motivated you?
You know, Janice, when people ask that, I remind people that we are spirit. We are creation manifest. We already are. So for me, it feels like the interior me is calling out to say, remove the veils, remove the veils. And that's the journey. And I think a lot of us start in some of the areas that we look at as numerology and astrology and magic and all the things that we are curious about when we're younger. And then those evolve. And I think our natural curiosity reaches out to a spiritual connection. We are already there. We're already there. It's finding our way back home. And I really get that this may be the greatest game, the greatest journey, the greatest experience, adventure that human beings can undertake, is to find their way back home.
Our actual purpose, isn't it? However, you also seem to love the earthly gifts too. You sailed around the world in a 40-foot sailboat, I understand, something like.
I didn't go all the way around. We had intended to. And
Antonia is today going to be introducing us to some new geometries. Some, you say, Antonia, are on the earth for the first time. How did they come to you, and where are they from?
About midnight one night, all of a sudden I was just doodling and started drawing what you're seeing behind me, and didn't know anything about what I was doing. It was just pretty, and I thought I was designing a sculpture to hold bells from around the world, which was another vision I had had. Anyway, it started from there, and it was only over time that they said that they were new on this earth plane, and they were new in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little hard to accept. I keep thinking I'm nuts, and I'm making it all up. And over the years, I've just had so much validation. And when I question, I have something or someone just kind of just point blank say something to me that is such a validation of what I've been questioning.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a journey for me to look at geometry as a spiritual path. I never really, you ask about some of the background, but it's like I call it the wiring. I have obviously been guided to have what I call the wiring in place in order to receive frequencies, music, color, sound, all of it. And I'm one of those ones who really wanted to sound great when I took a language in 9th grade. And because I didn't sound very good, I didn't sound very fluent, and I don't know why I expected to, but the perfectionist in me wanted to. And so I opted to take math and science instead of language. What a crazy decision. I took chemistry, and then I got to college and I took inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry and textile chemistry and college calculus. And I'm going, who took those courses? Because if you ask me right now, I don't know that I could repeat any of it. And I mean that sincerely. It's not a joke. It's like somebody else stepped in and took the courses for me. I had to have all the chemistry to graduate from my major. And I passed them. I got an A in the first inorganic chemistry. So it's like, I don't know who took it. So I would say, what I say is it's the wiring. It's like I had all of that background in place enough to recognize. I have an ability to kind of know when I even see a statement that my body just reacts to it, and I know that it is relevant. I may not know how it's relevant. There are quite a few slides, even in just the basics. So we're going to try and move through a number of them, and this is more as an overview. I'm going to share a screen now with what I've got, and yeah, let's see. Okay, so this is the information that I've been given. It's called the Next Octave of Love and the Next Octave of Human. And for those people who ask what an octave is, it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's another octave. It's literally, the information says beyond your ability to cognate. So exciting. Okay, for those of you who know the Platonic solids, considered to be the building blocks of all organic matter on this earth plane. These are, we don't need to go into this, but these are the Archimedean solids that are truncated Platonic solids. This is the family that I have brought through. We're going to be focusing on infinite love and the Golden Cross today, okay? They're called the Geometries of Love, or the geometric, it evolved into the geometric technologies for the Next Octave of Human and the Next Octave of Love. So I wanted you to see these because this is the information that came through after the graphic artist put that together for me. It said, yes, the Geometries of Love belong in this company. These are equivalent to the Platonic solids and vital for the creation of this next octave of love, this next octave of human, and the newly forming heaven on earth. I do not know yet who the committee is, okay? But they said it was the committee. So this is what we're going to be looking at to begin with. This is the very first one that I mentioned came through on the vision quest that I took back in 2004, January 2004. And it's called Infinite Love, obviously for obvious reasons. And its message to me is that it's a master key to opening, unlocking, and moving through the illusionary veil that has kept us believing that we are separate from source. Only after opening our hearts can we glimpse recognition of that which we have never truly forgotten and move into bliss and unity with the source beyond any naming, God, creator, all that is. This is what I used to call the driver of all of the geometries. In my last retreat last November, one of the participants said, instead of driver, it really is like a coordinator. It's like a choreographer. And I said, oh my gosh, it is. And just like a choreographer, it chooses the shapes for it to take, or the players that it wants to pull together to speak or to represent or to present a story. So this is what we're going to be working with today and showing you what has happened. Okay, this is a very specific mathematical equation. This is a golden ratio infinity, the very first time on this earth plane. And while it looks to be, but of course, we have never seen a mathematically acknowledged quality of the physics acknowledged shape of a infinity geometry. And when it was a couple months before I sat and I said, well, what is your name? Because I just knew it was a golden ratio infinity. And if spirit could go, duh, I almost got that. It was like golden infinity, of course. And I thought, okay. And the golden ratio is the most ubiquitous equation in creation. It is not the only equation, but it is the most ubiquitous because of its simplicity. And here are a few things that you've seen before, I'm sure. A is to B is A is to AB. That's the formula. You're going to see the Fibonacci spiral. And I will say that a lot of people use Fibonacci and golden ratio interchangeably. They are not. Okay? They are say first cousins. Maybe I think it's the 15th iteration of Fibonacci that you start, that you're getting really close, and it will always get closer and closer. But my understanding is that the golden ratio is an irrational number, and nature can only, or that Fibonacci is a whole number series, and it's the closest that humans can actually connect with nature that is working with irrational numbers. Okay, this is what I've been doing with the Garden of Golden Proportion, and excuse my French, but I think it's Jardin d'Or Fille. And so I've been creating, this is a double golden ratio infinity, and we're going to find out why. First one showed up vertically, and it's only later that it replicated and then turned, and we're going to see that later. Okay. And I want to show you this again for a reason. So take a look at what happens. This is the way Spirit talks to me. I was told that if I would get a camera with a good zoom, it would show me things that my eyes can't see. So after the sculptor made the sculpture, he went out and said, I'm going to give you my studio to do the painting. And I thought he was going to do it with me. And he said, oh, I'm busy. I've got things to do. Now it's yours. So this is after 3 days. Now, I don't know about you, but it took my breath away. Okay. This is what it looks like in reality. This is what it looked like 3 days later. At the end of the 3 days, no heat in the studio, nothing but natural light. This is what happens when the geometry becomes alive. Okay, this is stretch. I'm calling it breathing and stretching. This says, I am here, and I want to see what I can do. Believe me, this stretched my brain. So, and this is another one. I got about 8 or 9 of these. I was using film. I was standing in the Walmart aisle with tears running down my face because I knew that this was really important. It actually has a heartbeat. I had an engineer look at this thing, didn't say a word for about 5 minutes, and he looked at me and he said, this is alive. I said, I know. So that's why I wanted to show you this, because that's what it looks like in your eyes. This is what it looks like energetically. After you've prayed on something, after you've, I even held this in my hand because I was guided to, and actually kissed it and breathed into it. Look at this. This is 5/8 inch by 1.5 inch solid steel. So anyway, that's kind of fun. This is the third geometry, which we're not going to be working with today. This is it. And this is a view from the hilltop. And this is what happens when you begin to own. When you own a vibration, any of you who have been energy workers, therapists, or taken a course, you always end up with people coming to you right after you finished a course because suddenly you're qualified to work with them. It's really interesting. So once you own these vibrations, the actual land reaches out for you and says, would you manifest infinite love on me? Or it was about a year or two in and all of a sudden, a multiple mountain peak range, the second peak said, well, I want, and they gave me a name of another one. So believe me, this is, as I said, a journey for me too. Okay, we're going to stop there. People who work with sacred geometry believe that geometry are thought forms in the mind of God, and that they are avenues of expression of blueprints of creation. So it becomes sacred. And so you're actually using the geometry to not only manifest matter, but you're connecting with the source of the matter. And so the group that I've been studying with, off and on, calls it a spiritual science, that sacred geometry is the marriage of both science and spirituality. We cannot even begin to imagine what it's like 2,000 to 2,500 years from now, which is what the vibrational frequency is on these. They're still connecting with the earth plane, and that was one of the reasons I was told. I never had any idea that there would be a second one. To me, I was just so in love with this simple, elegant, infinite open heart and golden ratio infinity that I never expected another one. And when I did get one, about a year and a half later, I was surprised because I thought maybe I wasn't receptive enough. And over the years, the information has been given to me, and it was that nothing else could come in until this had been totally fully anchored onto this earth plane. And when I pointed out the Platonic solids as considered to be the building blocks of all organic matter on this earth plane, these geometries of love are literally needing to be on this earth plane as the vibrational frequencies to take us to literally the next millennium and beyond. They're here until we actually have received their gifts, have actuated them, and are ready for the next age to come in. It's mind-boggling, actually. It's like it's taken me years to be able to it took me a few years to even be able to say that comfortably, publicly, because of my, just concern that people think I'm crazy. But it actually has the ability to restructure our cellular makeup. And in doing so, it helps us to consciously evolve into this next octave of human. And we don't have to know what that is. It's like aligning, saying that this is a direction we want to go, that we want to be the purest form, or we are choosing at this point of our human evolution that we actually can become involved and help guide the direction of our evolution. And by choosing whatever it is that speaks to you, but these are actually tell you that they have an incredibly high frequency. Each one of them has come through with a message as to who they are, what they're here to do, and each one builds on the other, even though you can use each one independently. So in order for the second geometry to come in, the first one had to be totally anchored on this earth. Hope Fitzgerald, who is doing amazing work with the infinity wave. She got hers in 2010, and she told her story, so you're going to need to go back and look at the YouTube. And this has a very specific frequency that is absolutely imperative to this family of geometries. Hope is working with the infinity wave in some incredibly beautiful ways. And this is in its particular shape and its particular mathematical equation in order to be part of this geometric progression, working very differently. About 3 months ago, I got one of these waves that said you and Hope teaching together, and then suddenly behind that came the magic and alchemy of the infinities. And I went, why not? So when I mentioned it to Hope, she said, well, why not? So yes, they're here to be used as their gifts, whatever their gifts are, and how to use them. But yes, the equilateral infinity is, she said she was told it was from the 10th dimension. Geometries say they're from the 19th dimension and from the realms of the seraphim and cherubim. Now, I can't tell you how many years it took me to accept that. And then I've had some people tell me that they've seen cherubim around me. So I don't know. I'm relating what I've been receiving for 18 years. And also my critic has been alive and well. And I can tell you that I've rolled my eyes a number of times. And over the time, I've just gotten to the point where I really honestly can feel it, see it, sense it. I talk to them. I've gotten prose from them. I've gotten music. I've gotten songs from them. So they tell you why they're here and what they're to do, and what rotation. These are all. This is something I really want to emphasize. This whole series of geometries is about the divine masculine and the divine feminine in harmonic balance as one. So the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine in harmonic balance. And if everything in this series, if one of the forms moves clockwise, the other moves counterclockwise. And unlike the Merkaba, they move at exactly the same speed. And the reason for that is because they say that they can move faster than the speed of light. And in order to keep from destabilizing or falling apart, they have to be they have to have a stable center. And in order to do that, they have to be counter-rotating to each other at exactly the same speed. Once you begin to actually work with geometric shapes, and in my classes and things, I talked about how to resonate with geometry forms and using finger like coloring book, finger tracers and things like that. The vibrational frequency becomes part of you, and then it like just works with you, and it actually works with shifting your whole cellular basis. I don't even know that it's happened until like my healthcare practitioner puts his hands on my head and he said, I keep forgetting you have a totally different nervous system than anybody I've ever worked with. And I just know that in order for us to hold these frequencies, we need to be a higher frequency. So it will do what it needs to do as long as you make the commitment and say, this is a direction that really speaks to me. And it doesn't have, these are gifts. We can choose something else, but choose something that you can really believe in and own. And when you really take it in and really own it, it will shift you. It's like Dr. Dispenza talks about, shifting your mind and shifting your body and creating a new body. It shifts. You create new neural pathways. It shifts the cellular makeup, and it does it in ways you may not even know. In fact, actually, it's there's just so many things. This incredible practitioner that I've worked with on and off for about 12 years. And he said the message has been so clear. He said, normally a practitioner wants to help fix something. And he said, I put my hands on your head or your body. And he said, the message, he can hear that he can really hear this. He said, the message is so clear. Do not try and fix anything. Your job is to keep the channels open. We'll do the rest. I do work in the last number of years when I'm called to do it, and that's when I do it, is when I'm called to do it. I use the geometries. The geometries are what does the healing. And in the workshops or in the retreats that I do, I actually have a whole afternoon where I ask people to the people that are participants, all of us have gone through all of our Reikis and all of our things that we're trained in. Everybody wants to do something, whether they want to put their hands on somebody or they want to guide something or they want to align chakras. And it's really challenging when I say, I want you to do nothing. I want you to stand and hold this space for whatever of these geometric technologies, because they're alive and they're actually intelligence manifest. Okay. It took me 6 years to hear that they were alive and really get it. And it spoke to me and it said, I am not a symbol. I do not represent anything. I am a living geometric technology system. I am. And I went, okay. I really know. I hadn't heard that before. So when I want to have people when I invite people to have the experience of whatever geometry they might want to call forth or allow whatever one wants to speak to them, all of us stand around and hold the energetic space And that's really challenging for some people because they want to fix, they want to align chakras and they want to do whatever. And you've been around me. I teach an entirely different energetic system, and it's the new human. It's like we are at a pivotal point of shifting everything. The geometries can help us with, I call the next octave of love, the next octave of human. We have abilities to do so much more. And in addition to, when I say a new energetic system, it's the ability to hold higher frequencies, more intensities of the frequencies for longer periods of time, to be able to not only receive them, but to sustain them. And the higher the frequencies we're working with, the system has to be able to do that. Now, it was only after I started teaching this and I thought, oh my gosh, I never ever thought that there may have been another energetic system other than the chakra system that we have all been taught and know that it's been around for thousands of years. But at some point in the evolution of mankind, there may very well have been, and probably was, a time when the current system that we know, I say current for thousands of years, has served humanity now incredibly, incredibly. And it's maybe also time for us to make this pivotal shift. And so for some people, for the majority, they're carrying a template of this new system because it is totally shift. It's a total shift. The next octave, we're talking about something that is anywhere from 1,000 to 2,500 years in the future. That is where the top level is. And then where we are now is Do. And then where this particular geometric family is taking, so that they can take us, is up here. So it's not necessarily sounds, but there are songs that come through with a number of them starting, I think, at the third. So those of you who are familiar with Dan Winter, he's a self-professed, he's a physicist, self-taught, and mathematician and visionary, etc. And he believes the golden ratio is the fundamental ratio behind all self-organizing forces, including and especially gravity, life force, perception, bliss, enlightenment, negentropy, and the universe. I mean, that is, he basically says it's the basis of all of it. Nassim Haramein, many of you probably know, infinities are fundamental to creation. So I just kind of, every time I see something or feel something or can study something or be introduced to somebody who feels as if they're adding depth to what I've been bringing through, then I pay attention. Okay, so this is how we're starting to work on with the labyrinth, with the new earth. We've got the first geometry, which is the first golden infinity, and believe it or not, everybody assumes it's feminine. It's not. In this particular formation, I think you can see that the heart is what I call the heart womb, holding space for masculine creation. And then when it replicates, it becomes the feminine aspect of creation and the masculine heart womb. And my husband was one who pointed out, he said, men have a nurturance. Men can hold space for creation. And I went, well, yes, of course. Why did I not think of that? So when they come together, they create this space. Now, it would look like an equilateral. People often assume that this is an equilateral infinities. It's not. You can follow it. You already see this. It starts here. It goes small top, large bottom, large top, small bottom. Those are two interwoven golden ratio infinities. Where I had the labyrinth on the hilltop, I had floor walks made because just like finger tracers, I wanted people to be able to walk the labyrinth because believe me, it was a major undertaking and it had not happened yet. So I had these made. Just even on the floor, there are people who can't walk it because of the energy coming off the lines. And other people, when it first was introduced, I was told not to have people walk it more than once. I did have a couple of friends who showed up and said they could walk it more, and they walked it 3 or 4 or 5 times, and they were laid out on the sofa dizzy. And they said, wow, I didn't. And I was surprised because I can walk it, but then I'm the one who's bringing them through. So I have a different relationship with them. Here's the first labyrinth. These are all handmade pavers, about 23 pounds a piece, about 288 pavers, not only made, but a 5-page computer layout to do this, okay? So anyway, it's exciting. I love this photo. Here it is from the drone shot. And it used to be the original. You saw the gold infinity. Okay, the very first one is lapis lazuli blue heart, infinite open heart, always open to give and to receive, and the gold, golden infinity. So here's the gold, as much as you can get it in stain. And then you step over to the blue, and then you do the inverted golden infinity. This has been named the Grace Walk. We have 2 exterior circles of prayer flags, and I call them ceremonial flags. And actually, the labyrinth starts at the outer circle, which is clockwise. Then you come back to center, and then you go counterclockwise. And then you come back to where you started, and then you come in here, and then you start the walk, and then you exit. Lined up with House Mountain Power Center here. Every labyrinth walk is totally unique to the person walking it and the frame of mind that they are when they walk it. I never even considered the Sharp Cathedral. I mean, I'm very familiar with it. I've certainly walked a number of them, but this was calling for me to use the interwoven golden ratio infinities. Little did I know 10 years later, I would be adding to it, because it was almost 10 years in order to get this down. So walking it is for some people is cathartic. For other people, it's just a walk that's fun on a hilltop that's got a 360 view. And it depends, like anybody here who is familiar with power spots will know that there are times when a power spot is more on and a time when a power spot is not on. So that depends. There's also times of the day when it's stronger. I've been up there at midnight and it was scary. I was surrounded by like 100-foot energies all the way around the hilltop. And it was like, oh my God, I'm scared. And the more I sang, the closer they came. And when we had a Women of Wisdom retreat, and there were like 86 women, and I was asked to bring the floor walks. And at that time I was playing my lap harp, and I would intuitively tone as people were walking. And I had never been, first of all, I'd never been exposed, had the floor walk exposed to more than 15 people. So I really wasn't prepared for this. And people were literally having cathartic breakthroughs. People were walking it, and actually in some cases had to have somebody walk with them because they couldn't even stand on it. Somebody else said they couldn't put their foot down because it got within about 6 inches and got shoved off to the side because the energy coming off the line. So that was a new experience for me. And as I said, this is a journey that I've been taking too. So I'm giving you the crash course, the cliff notes in very long journey of immersion into something that I had the wiring for, but really didn't know any. So here we are with this beautiful grace walk, is what it was called and what it is called. And then we go to how it's created. So we took what you have just seen on this particular labyrinth, 2 golden ratio, interwoven golden ratio infinities, And then this got replicated. The interwoven got replicated. Then it turns sideways, and then it slides in and actually intersects. Now these are computer drawings based on the rods that I chose for the actual sculpture. Okay, so they can overlap, but in my drawings I have them because of steel. They're steel in actuality. So you're gonna walk this now, and this, and this, and this, and then on the new walk, it's this, and this, and this, and this. Now, somebody, I won't mention a name, said that they had been shown how to walk it. And what I really understood when she said that was that this was very clearly for the general public, because this is the way it had been for 10 years, had been energetically into the ground. And then I was shown how it transformed into the new one, and it was in reverse. So what my understanding was when she mentioned it was that each person may be getting their own way of walking this. And that would be totally understandable because it's speaking to them personally as to what they might want to do with it. So I will say that I was shown this picture 3 weeks before we laid the first one. And I will tell you honestly that it's the proverbial fist to the sky. It was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's taken me almost 10 years to get this down. You're showing me that I've got to do this. And the message came through immediately saying, not now, but soon. Well, I thought it was not like a year, and a year always seems like so long. So I thought, oh, okay, I can do that. And then for the next 9 years, I'm beating myself up because I think I'm not stepping up, that I haven't had time. I haven't walked forward. I'm literally constantly thinking I've dropped the ball. And finally, in December of 2020, I get a message saying, simply, it's time. And I knew exactly what it meant. And so the following, and then I looked at the date because it said, next year. And then the first one was unveiled on the 12/12/12, and this one was to be unveiled on the 12/12/21. So all these years I'm beating myself up when it was spirit time is not human time. Soon meant we'll tell you when. Okay. So this is the sculpture, and I would love to say I'm flying, but I'm on the scaffolding because we just put it on the post. And because apparently you can't hear, for some reason, the audio that goes with this, I'm read you the message that came through with the Golden Cross. I am the balancer, the harmonizer. With elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty, I bring all to center point. Holding center, I invite you to move into and through the portal of your heart system. Wherever you desire to travel or be, I am with you. For wherever you go, your center is grace. We come together as one in the heartbeat. I sing you, you sing me. Okay, so this is what it looks like energetically on the ground. What you're seeing, and why we're talking about this with the new earth creation, is this is a power spot. This is a power point. And this geometry brings that to this new evolving earth. So when I realized that everything's evolving, including the grace walk, which then began to be replicated and became something even more. And then it became the living prayer labyrinth. So this is what it looks like in motion. You're going to love this. In the interest of time, I'm going to stop this in a minute. Yeah. Okay. So this is the evolution of the Grace Walk, which is what you're seeing here. I also got the information that this was to go from lapis lazuli blue and gold to metallic gold, the entire labyrinth. So that was another whole story about how to find a chemical company, a concrete company, somebody who had metallic gold that would withstand the elements. And that's another whole story, guys. This is what it looks like today. And Janice and the amazing group from the DC Connecting Consciousness group that came out for 3 or 4 work parties and just did an amazing job helping get this together. I mean, just incredible. You were amazing. So here are your ceremonial flags. I was very specifically told crimson on the outside, saffron on the inside. Not sure which one Janice is. That's me. And it's just amazing. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here's the unveiling on May 1st. We started unveiling it on the 12/12/21, and we found out that it actually was going to be forever, the living prayer labyrinth. And then the completion of it was unveiled on May 1st. It's amazing. Okay, this is the center of it. This had to be created, okay, because it was going to be a spaghetti bowl in here. You can't, you can't see it, but there actually is a 12-foot center in here. But it turned into an absolute spaghetti bowl with everything crisscrossing all over. And so it took several months to work this out. With this fellow who's the drone photographer and an architect, and he helped lay this all out architecturally. From the air, every single paver matches the existing ones, and it was amazing. So I call this a directional rosette. Number one, the very unveiling we had, I was guided to do white roses and coral roses. So the center is all roses. It looks like a tapestry from here. And it actually lines up with each of the walkways. So at the edge of each of the walkways. And it combines the original with the new. Okay, you can still see some of the fresh dirt and stuff around. We had to countersink everything. So I'm calling it a directional rosette. And then we had fun doing this. Love, 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 love. Okay, living prayer labyrinth. We had people writing prayers for the future of humanity, the future of the earth, the future of all life everywhere. It will remain this way as long as we own this property. We had people write them out, put them in scrolls, and then we buried them. And we started out burying them underneath each of the cement pavers. It was very emotional. It was pretty incredible. And this will continue with the overnight guests that we have. I'm working out how they can be collected, and then we will enter them into the earth as long as they're inside the circle. So we're calling it golden living prayer labyrinth. And this is the kind of thing the cameras show. One of our participants took 3 different images showed up on her photographs. And earlier we had a Mayan fire ceremony down by the lodge, and one of the participants said she saw a golden staircase come out of the sky with all kinds of beings coming down, etc. And when she saw this photograph, she just went, "Oh my God, that's it." So all kinds of fun things happen. All the energy around here. This is not one of the family per se. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings there. It is actually called the witness. It's called celebration, and it actually has in its heart womb an image of the unified field system of love for the next millennium. So that's all. There's just so much I can't share with you now because of time, and it's classes and work. I mean, and this is a group from Beijing. People don't know why they want to take jumping pictures around this sculpture, but inside it is the unified field system of love for the next millennium. This is an amazing statement that someone I know gave me, and it's referencing the geometries. The outcome of this vision has resulted in masterpieces of art that have combined the highest intent, geometric technology, and motion into something far greater than the sum of its parts. We seem to be dabbling with the core of creation, motion, and infinite density of potential. Powerful statement. And don't think small, think big. I have actually seen the geometries of love on the vertices of the Platonic solids, infusing it with a higher frequency of love. My understanding is that with the new earth, we are not leaving the Platonic solids. The new earth is another vibrational frequency of another dimension of what we are already here on. The Platonic solids will be taken with us, but and they have a higher frequency of love that have been being infused I've seen them for over 10 years. I can watch these on the grid lines and the lines around the earth. I've seen them on the geometries, on the Platonic solids. I mean, it's really amazing. You guys are
Okay. A few questions. I'll thank you so much. And I do have a question and a quote. You received a letter or a note from a man named C.M. Jackson from Wyoming. I understand he was a scientist.
No, it's an amazing clairvoyant, and I sent her photographs of it and asked her if she tune into it.
So I'll read what she said. State of Grace Pulsation Center, your labyrinth area, is an important command central for the new earth. It is a living, evolving, multi-everything crop circle, which is totally tuned into the land, to the evolution of earth and the greater cosmos. The symbols are two-way communications, both transmitting and receiving energies and more. I am vibrating just from looking at the photos. And then she has all in caps, awesome. Wow, what a statement.
It is.
What's going on your farm?
I haven't sent her photographs of the newly evolved geometry on the two. Yeah.
Wow. So she's already saying this from the previous one.
From the original, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I just wanted to say how much I love the when you did the movement of the symbols, and I just felt so immediately and so strongly that somebody could hear the music that goes with it, the music that they're emitting.
There is music that comes with it.
Oh, okay. Because I wondered if you'd heard it.
I'll sing it to you if you'd like.
Okay.
Yes.
Elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty. Elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty. You take my breath away and give it back to me. elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty, elegance and grace, simplicity and beauty. You take my breath away and give it back to me. Thank you. That's the song that goes with the sculpture. And there's actually a different one for the labyrinth. One of the things I want to mention, this is really important, that when this first came through, 95% of the infinities were seen laying down. With the way we've been taught, the lazy 8. When this came through in 2004, suddenly they started standing up. When Hope got hers, she got a message saying that it would be enveloping the earth, and within a year, where you didn't really see infinities very much, all of a sudden they're in jewelry, and they're in logos, and they're in advertising and everything. But there's a very big difference when somebody's just drawing a smaller top and a larger bottom. That does not mean that it's a golden ratio. The golden ratio infinity is very specifically a mathematical equation from the center of the cross point to the center of the top to the center of the bottom. In my case, it was rods. Absolutely mathematically important in order to have what they call the quality of the physics that goes with the golden ratio. It has to be in the mathematical equation in order to create the frequency that it has to have to be functioning as what it came here to do. If you just draw a smaller top, larger bottom, it looks pretty. But I have never seen, in 18 years, I have not seen anybody anywhere on Google, anything that I can research that talks about a very specific mathematical proportioned infinity for anything, much less acknowledging the quality of the physics with the creation form. So yeah, and it's a very beautiful diagram. I mean, photographs. I mean, it's gorgeous. It took me quite a while. I knew that I was told that I was the messenger to really understand that I'm apparently a messenger for a group consciousness, and that I volunteered to do this. But the thousands of beings that are supporting and here to help all of us and to help all of this transition and all of this evolution is really enough to break, to open your heart and just like tears. And go to my website and look under geometries. You'll see the infinite love is the only one so far that is expanded in its description. And I think there should be a printable image. So by printing it out and holding it in your hands, you can meditate with it that way. You can trace it, which I really like to do because I'm also kinesthetic. So I like to trace something and my body begins to, connect with it. You can sit with it and look at it and ask it to speak to you. These are, and I'm really serious when I heard that voice, it said, I am not a representation of anything. I'm not a symbol. I'm a living geometric technology system. I am. These are intelligence manifest. Talk to them, ask them to speak to you. And that's what I've done is I've said, speak to me, talk to me, tell me. And the PowerPoints I use for my retreats and things, I have animations of several of the geometries. And I showed that because it was what we were talking about on the New Earth. This is powerful. This is really about taking humanity into something that is so far beyond generations to come. But if we can align with a frequency and trust that we say we want to do this, and this is the direction we want to go, then all they ask you to do is have faith, open the door, and walk into the unknown. And the rest of it, they will take care of. So it's not any small, that's not a small request, but the results are cellular shifting, nervous systems that are different. You may not even know it. There's so many other changes that are happening that I really can't even address right now.
Thank you again, Antonia.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you all.